Alright, this is Batman issue 181. What? The original printing? The one that is worth loads of money? No, this is a Facsimile edition. DC got in on the Facsimile edition craze. This is the first appearance of Sexy Ivy, classic Batman character, one of the most popular and obviously one of the best DC characters. As far as first appearances gone, this is a pretty coveted comic. But I think that is more from the strength of the character than the actual story in it, which is pretty lame. It was the 60s, so this is written almost in the style of the 60s Batman TV show. And we open up with Batman snogging Sexy Ivy, and this is probably the best it gets. Unlike the Marvel facsimiles, this one it has tried to maintain the newsprint look rather than use like the digital copies with restored colouring. It's up to you which approach you prefer. The plot is that Sexy Ivy, she wants to prove to everyone that she is the best criminal woman in the world. And she flirts with Bruce Wayne, and, well, Sexy Ivy, she is great. She's one of them characters who immediately makes a comic better. And she is pretty much the only thing that is elevating this story or making it worth reading. There's no depth given to any of the characters, there's no consequences, and it's quickly over. I think the most you can get out of this story, this is purely my reading as well, but you can see like a tragic little idea that both Batman and Sexy Ivy really fancy each other, and that in like another life they could have been lovers, or even in this one they could be like what helps the other one get over things or leave things in the past. Robert, he is in it, but he does nothing. And here is Sexy Ivy, she gets the other women criminals and she tricks them into fighting each other, and then she defeats them all herself. And then she gets to neck on with Batman, and as I said, these are the best parts of the comic. But then it's over, the story is finished. Also down here, since it's Sexy Ivy's first appearance, we have some of those classic character powers that were never seen again. She apparently can stick to walls like a sexy Spider-Man. It's a really cheesy story, honestly, and after this, I didn't think Sexy Ivy appeared again for at least a decade. This is great though, we got a pin-up of Batman and Robert, and I'm considering pulling this out and putting it on my wall. It's a really good pin-up. We have got a second story because Batman's comic back then, it was more of like an anthology of Batman stories. This one, it has now to do with Sexy Ivy. She's not in it, so that's immediately a negative. But it does probably have the more interesting plot line. There is a writer woman, because back in the day we used to have female writers. What a world the 1960s were. If only women still had all them rights. And what's happened is, someone else has gone and written a book and published a book, but with her name listed as the author. It's an intriguing setup, and it leads to some okay bits with Batman being a detective. But it does boil down to being another shaggy dog story with virtually no consequences. Both stories are about femme fatales, so there's at least a very loose theme for both these stories. Just like with the Marvel one though, I consider this to be like a prop. Your enjoyment or use would vary depending how much you want a first appearance of Sexy Ivy. Actually, I would say that like an original copy of this issue, that's as much as a novelty prop too, because, well, the story is weak. This is purely a case of a comic representing a great character's first appearance rather than being a good first appearance. It's a bit of a wank. in both senses of the word. I give this 7 thumbs up.